I think it's a harbor bridge. That one. Yeah. I think the blue one.
Hi.
Part of the Queen Mary, you can see a low-lying black object poking up behind the rocks. That is the Russian spy submarine, the Black Scorpion. The Black Scorpion was a real spy submarine used by the Soviet Union to spy on the United States during the Cold War. It's a Foxtrot class spy submarine, just shy of 300 feet, at 299 feet 6 inches long. It has 4 powerful diesel generators that are used to charge batteries that the electric motors use to propel the submarine through the water. The submarine was able to stay submerged up to 4 days before needing to resurface for air, so the generators can charge the batteries back up. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the submarine was decommissioned and then bought by a group for the use of airplanes, much like the Queen Mary. Or much like the Titanic, excuse me. The Queen Mary is actually longer than the Titanic at 1,019 feet long and 118 feet wide, about 200 feet longer than the Titanic. Queen Mary was the fastest ocean liner of her time, able to make the crossings across the Atlantic from New York over to England in just over 3 days, setting many world records at the time. During World War II, the Queen Mary was used by the Allied forces as a troop transport ship. The Queen Mary was so efficient and so fast at transporting troops that Hitler actually put a bounty on the ship. He wanted this ship sunk. Any submarine captain that was able to sink the Queen Mary would receive $1 million and the reward of the Iron Cross, which is the highest honor in the German military. But as you can see, the Queen Mary is still floating here today. No submarine captain was able to sink her, and that's because of her speed. The Queen Mary was so fast, she was able to outrun enemy torpedoes. During the war, she was painted battleship gray and was given the nickname the Gray Ghost, as she was able to vanish in the thick fog throughout the Atlantic. It was built to house Howard Hughes' Spruce Goose all-wooden seaplane Hercules. Howard Hughes, an eccentric millionaire, built the largest seaplane of its time, nicknamed the Spruce Goose, because it was built entirely out of wood. It was built as a troop transport plane, going to be used during World War II. However, it only flew once, right here in Long Beach Harbor. It flew for about 1 mile, or 1 minute. It was then kept inside that dome, flight ready, until the passing of Howard Hughes. Spruce Goose is now in an Air and Space Museum up in Oregon. The dome then sat empty for a number of years before it was purchased by Sony, where it's used as a sound stage. A couple of movies filmed inside that dome, the original Spider-Man movies, and Pirates of the Caribbean. Whiskers, just like a cat or a dog. These whiskers are very sensitive and allow them to find their food even in the darkest of nights. So it does look like we got 3 of them sleeping up there this afternoon. The one male, the biggest one, that's a male, and the 2 smaller ones are females. And the way we can tell the difference between the males and the females is the males have a large bump on the top of their forehead called a sagittal crest, while the females just have a smooth, slender head. Like I said, these are sea lions and not seals. A few ways we can tell the difference between the sea lions and the seals. First off, seals wouldn't be able to hop onto the buoys like this. The seals are only able to go to rocks close to sea level. They don't have large flippers like the sea lions. Sea lions are able to jump out of the water up to 12 feet high. They can easily jump out of the buoys like this. Seals are also multicolored, polka dot or cookies and cream color. These sea lions you can see are all one chocolatey brown color. Off to the right, you can see this group of 6 white cranes, these closest cranes to us. This is the Costco Container Terminal. Now that's not Costco like where you go and buy your groceries. This Costco stands for China Overseas Shipping Corporation. It's one of the largest shipping companies in the world, and has one of these smaller terminals here in the harbor. This terminal is able to accommodate 2 of those large container ships up to 1,000 feet long. When the ships come into the harbor, they'll dock underneath the cranes. Will then lower and start picking up the containers one by one. The containers are then placed on trucks where they're stacked, organized behind the crane, being stacked so evenly. From there, they're placed on different ships, trucks, trains, or barges to be shipped all across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Now you can find anything imaginable in these containers. You can find cars, car parts, electronics, shoes, teddy bears, Build-A-Bears, % of all cargo that comes into the United States passes through one of these ports. As we make our turn here, you see this large rock wall off to the right. That's the Los Angeles Break Wall. The break wall separates the harbor from the ocean and protects the harbor from the large ocean waves and swells so the ships can load and offload their cargo safely. This is the world's longest man-made break wall. It's about 9 miles long. It starts over in Cabrillo Beach behind us, ends over Seal Beach up in front of us. The break wall took about 50 years to build. Construction started in the late 1800s and was completed during the height of World War II. The break wall does go all the way down to the sea floor, 70 feet deep and 100 feet wide at the base. You're just seeing the tip of the pyramid. There are 2 openings in the break wall. The one off to the right, you see is tree and palm trees that surround the islands help disguise them and hide all the pipes and buildings used in the oil production process. Like I said, these are man-made islands. They were not always here. All the rocks used to build these islands came over from a quarry on the east end of Catalina Island. On a clear day, we'd be able to see Catalina behind us on the other side of the lighthouse, about 26 miles away. It's a little hazy today. We're not able to see Catalina. But they placed all the rocks on barges, brought them over here and stacked them up, and they used mud from from the bottom of the harbor to build the center of these islands.
Is that the bridge that we went on? We had to go back up.
Like these coverage from the island's Oral Derrick, as well as some waterfalls that face the shoreline and shine different colors at night. Hope you learned something about the harbor, and hope you enjoyed having everyone on board. And we hope to see you guys again for another harbor tour or whale watch in the future. Once again, thanks for coming.